Can you hear me? Hello? Please confirm once.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just mute your audio so that I can start session. Mute your audio, all of you, please. Yeah. Suresh Gopi Yadav, please mute your audio. And yeah, I'm going to start today's session. Let's start today's session. So this is the first session of .NET Core. In this .NET Core package, I'm going to cover these subjects like C Sharp.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET, MVC, Entity Framework, then Web API. These all subjects I'm going to cover in .NET Core package. So it will take 4 months time to complete. So duration of the course is 4 months are actually. Duration of the course is 4 months. Compulsory 4 months it will take to complete all these C Sharp.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET, MVC and Entity Framework, Web API also. So every day session is going to be recorded and same session recorded video will send to you Google Drive. So you have to download that video and watch the video at any number of times. It is lifetime access along with complete soft copy of PDF material. So first let's discuss. So what is C Sharp and what is ASP.NET, SQL Server, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. So after that we'll start with the .NET introduction part. Okay. So you know that .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET is the product of Microsoft. .NET is the product of Microsoft. And .NET was released in the year of 2000. .NET was released in the year of 2000. The first version of .NET was released. The first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. From 2002 till 2022, there are so many versions of .NET. Here in .NET Core, so first I need to discuss what is the difference between framework and core only. So that means .NET framework is what, .NET core framework is what. In simple way, before 2016 only .NET framework was there. That means .NET was completely platform dependent. But after 2016, Microsoft has announced like .NET Core platform. That means .NET applications can able to run on any operating system. Like .NET framework is there and .NET Core framework is there. When we develop any application using .NET framework through, that application can able to run on only Windows operating system, like platform dependent. When we go for .NET Core platform, so that means once we design and develop .NET applications using .NET Core platform, we can able to develop, we can able to run that applications on any platform. Means platform independent too. So .NET Core applications makes .NET applications are platform independent, whereas .NET Framework applications makes .NET applications are platform independent, dependent only. Right now, in our session completely, I'm going to cover .NET Core subjects related only. So all C# .NET Core with framework, with core framework ASP.NET Core, ASP.NET Core MVC, and ASP.NET Core Entity Framework and Web API. All are I'm going to cover.
मोबाइल में एक कॉल करो.
Please mute your audio, all of you. So coming to this .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework. So .NET Core Framework right now it is going so in the market. So we have to use .NET Core platform only. So every application implementation it is completely in MVC pattern only. So that too we are going to cover with MVC also. .NET Core MVC only. Core platform it is. Now in this .NET Core package, so these many subjects I have written now which I am going to cover. So what is these subjects, we have to know that. So to become a .NET programmer, compulsory you should have the basic knowledge,
Hello.
at least knowledge of C#. Tell me, Mr. Arvind. Hello. Please mute your audio, Arvind.
Sir, could you please speak loudly?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. So here, once again, I'm going to repeat because of due to some low voice, many of them not got properly. So here, .NET Core is the basic package. Actually, this is in this .NET Core basic package. I'm going to cover C#, .NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET MVC, and Entity Framework, Web API. And I'll give you clarity in today's lecture what is ASP.NET and what is C#.NET, how to work with them, what is the use of SQL Server, everything we'll discuss in detail. So first of all, let me give a small introduction of .NET. .NET is the product of Microsoft only. .NET was released in the year of 2000 and the first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. From 2002 till 2022, there was many versions are there. I'll explain that versions also. But before that what is the difference between .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework? .NET Framework as well as .NET Core Framework. See, when we use .NET framework for developing .NET applications, these .NET framework applications are platform dependent only. That means using .NET framework applications, once we design and develop .NET applications that will run on only Windows operating system, which don't run on any operating system. But this is up to 2016 only. Microsoft has not released it up to 2016 .NET Core framework. So after 2016, Microsoft introduced a .NET Core framework. So using this .NET Core framework, so we can build .NET application which will run on any operating system like Windows, Linux, Unix, and other operating system also we can able to run it. So ultimately what I mean to say, once we go for .NET Core framework, .NET applications will run on any operating system like platform independent style. Once we go for .NET framework, that means .NET applications are platform dependent style, only Windows operating system it will work. So I'm going to cover in my lectures all our .NET Core related stuff only, each and every subjects in the context of .NET Core only I'm going to cover. So these are the subjects which I'm going to cover, and duration of this course is completely 4 months, sir. 4 months it will take to complete. 4 months. So except this week I'm going to conduct demo session. Demo sessions means not entire the week, like first 4-5 days sessions you can consider as demo sessions. After that you can decide that, okay? And I'm talking about next week schedule. From the next week onwards, my plan is first 4-week daily, like Monday to Thursday, C#.NET I'm going to cover. And every Friday and Saturday, every Friday and Saturday, I'm going to cover SQL Server session, sir. Completely SQL Server session. SQL Server also very important for every .NET developer. Without SQL, we can't manage the things, especially in the .NET Core platform. SQL is mandatory thing to learn, especially .NET. Those who wants to look forward for .NET job orientation, SQL Server is compulsory required because it's a product of Microsoft only. SQL Server is product of Microsoft. So first 4 days, Monday to Thursday, every week, like C#.NET sessions, and Friday and Saturday SQL Server sessions I'm going to cover. Okay. So Monday to Thursday, C#.NET, and every Friday and Saturday SQL Server. So if I go through like this C#.NET and SQL Server, after completion of the C# and SQL, then we should focus on completely ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. Because the reason is, to learn ASP.NET, compulsory prerequisite subject is C#.NET only. Without C#.NET, you can't learn ASP.NET. So that's the reason I strongly recommend to learn C#.NET before going to start with ASP.NET. And also in the ASP.NET, we should communicate with the database also, like SQL Server. So before starting ASP.NET, better to finish SQL Server and ASP C#.NET so that you will have the clarity. So using C#.NET only, we can write some logics, okay, application logics. So let me discuss what is C#.NET and what is ASP.NET, SQL Server, ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, all these things, okay? And here, I'm going to cover ADO.NET also here, including with ADO.NET, sir. So I have not included here, but let me cover ADO.NET. Because ADO.NET is related to .NET framework only. This is just for communication from front-end application to back-end application. In the .NET framework, programmers will use like ADO.NET. In core framework, programmers will use like entity framework core only. So let's talk about what is C#.NET, okay? So C#.NET is a programming language. What is C#.NET? C#.NET is a programming language. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development, which is used to write logic part for the application development, sir. Logic part for the application development. Yes. C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. Without C#.NET, we can't write any logic part and we cannot fulfill any .NET applications correctly. And what is ASP.NET here? No, what is ASP.NET here? And for your kind information, ASP.NET is not a programming language, sir. Okay. So ASP.NET stands for actually Active Server Page, Active Page.NET. So it's a web technology or server-side technology, we can call it. It's web technology or server-side technology, we can say that. Server-side technology. So generally using ASP.NET, we can develop what actually web applications. Web applications we can develop using ASP.NET. Active Server Page, ASP.NET stands for. It's a web technology or server-side technology, we can say. And using this web technology or server-side technology, we can develop what web applications. Web application means like online applications. Okay. So the applications which will provide services over the web is called web application. These web applications are very important. Our focus is completely on web applications only, especially with ASP.NET MVC. So ASP.NET is not a programming language. If you want to design web applications or if you want to write any coding part for the web application, compulsory C#.NET logic is required, sir. Without C#.NET logic, we can't build any web applications clearly. So let's try to understand the scenario here, sir. Just you can see Paint. I'm just opening Paint option and consider this example. This is my small user interface, which I'm trying to create with labels and text boxes, username and password. And I'm just taking here text boxes are here. So this is what username and password, and this is username and password. After this, what I'm trying to do here, this is coming to this here login button. So this is actually how we can design web page using web page. How we can design this web page ASP.NET with UI also possible. UI means user interface, HTML, CSS, JavaScript like this only. But only ASP.NET design and only UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript is not sufficient to build a proper web application. But behind the scenes, now you can see in this inside the login button, we need to write some logic part, that is C#.NET logic part only. How we can write logic part means using C#.NET logic part. So C#.NET is the programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. ASP.NET is a web technology or server-side technology which is used to design web applications only. But this is totally overall ASP.NET with the C#.NET logic. This is called front-end application, we can call it as. What application? Front-end application. So you can try to understand this is front-end. Front-end application means the application where end user can interact. This is called front-end applications. But whenever as a in front-end application, whatever username and password you are giving, and after that clicking on hit login button, immediately it will communicate with what? Database. That is called back-end application, we can call this. Generally, database is nothing but what? Storage area. So where we can store the data, end user data, that is called database. And that database we can design by. So this we can consider as a backend. But for this ASP.NET, front end, back end is C#.NET also, but overall, this is front end only. For this front end, back end is what? SQL Server only. So this is back end applications are here. So this is back end application, back end application. So front end application and back end application can communicate with each other after login button. Click on login button, it will communicate with the database. username and password, whatever we enter in this design, and that will cross verified with the database only. So this communication purpose, we use what actually ADO.NET generally, or else entity framework also we can use in the what we can say .NET core concept. So normally framework, if you are using .NET framework, we go for ADO.NET. ADO.NET stands for ActiveX Data Object. It is a communication medium only. Communication between front-end application to back-end and back-end application to front-end, like this. So C#.NET is a programming language which is used to write logic part for the application development. ASP.NET is a web technology or server-side technology. ASP.NET code is executed at server side only, but design is what? Client side only, like UI, user interface. In the UI design, we are going to discuss basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap, especially in the ASP.NET core context, I'll discuss completely. So SQL Server is the database because compulsory customer information or end user information we need to store into separate place, that is called database only. So database is used to store end user information or customer information into separate storage area, that is called database only. So that is SQL Server. So these are the subjects which I am going to cover, sir. C#.NET, ASP.NET, SQL Server. SQL Server is for what actually? Database design purpose. Database design. SQL Server is for database design. So this is storage area, also we can call it as storage area, means permanent storage area. So client information we can store that. ADO.NET stands for ActiveX Data Object. ActiveX Data Object. So it is communication medium from front-end application to back-end application. Communication medium. Communication medium. So communication medium, we can use communication medium is ADO.NET here, but ADO.NET in communication medium, it will not actually, this is, we can also call it as native driver, sir. It is native driver, or sometimes we can say communication medium or middleman services, like that. Native driver software. So generally, if you are working with the .NET framework software, then we can go for ADO.NET. But if you are working with the .NET core software, then entity framework we use, EF. Entity framework, we can say that. Entity framework. Entity framework can be used as a mediator, which is communication from front-end application to back-end applications with the .NET core framework only. .NET core framework. So .NET core framework, when we use, entity framework is going to be takes place. If you are using .NET framework, means not core framework, then we can go for ADO.NET. So both with the .NET framework, ADO.NET communication also I can do with SQL Server. With the .NET core framework, entity framework relations also I can maintain with SQL Server. Both if I can show, so it will be clear in real time. So once you are a .NET programmer, you should have the knowledge on all the aspects, how to communicate using .NET framework from front-end application to back-end application. At the same time, how to communicate using .NET core framework from front-end application to back-end application with entity framework relations. So you are going to learn a lot more subjects in this session's 4 months duration. C# you are going to learn. ASP.NET you are going to learn. SQL Server complete. And SQL Server means, don't think so I'm going to cover only basics of SQL Server, sir. I'm going to cover all the advanced concepts also related to SQL Server, like joins, stored procedures, triggers, cursors, views, indexers, okay, constraints, identity, lot of operations we can do with SQL Server. So SQL Server, not basics. Minimum 20 sessions I'll conduct SQL Servers, only SQL Server related. That's what every weekend, Friday, Saturday, we should focus on SQL Server topics only, sir. And C# and SQL parallel sessions are going to happen every week. Monday to Thursday, C#.NET. and every Friday and Saturday SQL Server concepts I'm going to discuss. Once I complete successfully a C# with ASQL Server, then we'll go for ASP.NET Focus. That is completely web development only. Once I start web development, ASP.NET concepts all I'm going to cover with MVC platform only. MVC means Model View Controller. So here, model represent database, view represent presentation, controller represent logic actually. So we will discuss in detail later ASP.NET MVC later. So I'm saying just clearly, completely ASP.NET lectures are going to happen with model view controller along with entity framework along with web API. So once I start ASP.NET, these all coming on the flow one by one clearly. But without knowing C# knowledge, without having SQL Server knowledge, you can't move to ASP.NET clearly. That's the reason my focus is in the initial days, like first we should focus on C# with SQL Server. So once after completion, then only we can go for ASP.NET related stuff only. So you are going to learn ASP.NET Core MVC, not ASP.NET MVC. ASP.NET Core MVC, ASP.NET Core Entity Framework, ASP.NET Core Web API. As I said, that core platform means it is platform independent. Once we build application like ASP.NET Web applications on core platform, that can be able to run on any operating system without fail. But when we go for only ASP.NET with framework, that can be run on only Windows operating system. Okay, that we can mind it. And this is the only subject introduction which I discuss in this session. So C#, ASP, SQL, Server, ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, ADO.NET along with this. These are the subjects I'm going to cover. It takes 4 months durations are compulsory. Below 4 months, I can't able to finish it. So if anybody is having some requirement like within 2 months or 1 month means I can't able to finish, sir. You can go through any other options once we have, because these are the heavy subjects. So if you need subject means you must and should spend lot of time on it. So compulsory you should attend regularly. Okay. Anyway, if you attend regularly or missing the topics, whatever that is your wish. But once you join, you should try to attend regularly. But anyway, from our end, everyday sessions I'm going to conduct. After conduction of sessions, same recorded video we will send to your Google Drive. That video you can watch it and practice it and download it also. And along with that, completely C#, ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, complete PDFs I'm going to provide to you. So these are the PDF I have already here. Let me show you complete PDFs here. So these are the PDFs are here. ASP.NET Core MVC PDF is there. ASP.NET with .NET Framework PDF is there. C#.NET PDF is there. SQL Server PDF is there. These PDFs I can hand over it to you subject wise when I start these all sessions clearly. So this is about basic introduction which I covered today's session. So ASP.NET is completely designed tool only. Using ASP.NET we can build web applications. And most importantly, I forgot to tell you, before going to ASP.NET, UI basics also I'm going to cover, sir. UI basics. UI basics means like HTML, I'm going to cover CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. jQuery is optional, not compulsory. Bootstrap is important because we are going to use in ASP.NET Bootstrap also. HTML makes to design any ASP.NET web page. Okay, HTML tags are compulsory required, sir. Here HTML, especially in ASP.NET context, HTML tag helpers are there, ASP.NET tag helpers are there. In that context, we can go for HTML tag helpers, sometimes ASP.NET tag helpers also. Using HTML, we can build, we can create web pages like static web pages, dynamic web pages, along with JavaScript. If you want to do styling for your HTML web pages, then we can go for CSS, cascading style sheets, we can say that. Or if after creating HTML web pages and CSS style sheet, do you want to provide any functionality for your application, then JavaScript is required. JS is there, JavaScript. JavaScript is used to make dynamic content. Means you can perform actions using JavaScript only. So jQuery, Bootstrap, these two are advanced UI technologies which are designed and developed by using this HTML, CSS, JavaScript only. So jQuery, Bootstraps are advanced UI technologies. These two are implemented by using HTML, okay, CSS, JavaScript only implemented. So jQuery is the extension of JavaScript. Bootstrap is the extension of CSS with JavaScript only. So once we know that Bootstrap, jQuery, how to use it in our application, so most of the cases in ASP.NET designing, we are going to use Bootstrap links only. So directly official Bootstrap link is there, getbootstrap.com, jQuery.com. Okay. From there, we can able to use the links with the CDN and as well as through locally. So this is just a basic introduction which I covered, sir. So .NET Framework and .NET Core Framework. Difference is .NET Framework through if you learn .NET subjects, that's make very easy, and .NET Framework applications all are platform dependent style. So which will be run on only one particular operating system, Windows. And when we learn .NET subjects all related to .NET Core platform, that means .NET Core platform, this makes .NET applications are platform independent only. Means you can run .NET applications on any operating system without fail. That is the advantage of .NET Core. So as I said that .NET was released in the year of 2000. First version of .NET released in 2002. But there are so many framework versions are there. .NET framework versions and .NET Core framework versions also there. So one thing you can strictly remember, you are going to learn in this session like .NET Core syllabus only completely. Core concepts I'm going to cover. I'm not going to cover any .NET framework sessions. So I will cover .NET framework only in the context of C#.NET and also ADO.NET context only. Remaining context all when it comes to ASP.NET completely my lecture should be on .NET Core platform only, so that you will get both idea, framework idea and core framework idea also you'll get, that is. So this is the subjects which I'm going to cover and duration, and every day session is going to be recorded, sir. Now this session also recording is available in future, like once you enroll for this course you will get recorded video along with soft copy of material. And now it times to what we can say your turn. If you have any questions and any doubts regarding this session, and you can feel free to talk to me now, or else you can type your question in the chat box so I can give you answer clearly. This is very, very simple and basic demo session. I didn't cover anything in this session, just basic rules and regulations and what subjects I am going to cover in our complete .NET Core package. So what is .NET? what is programming language you are going to learn? C#.NET. So I'll tell these subjects one programming language you are going to learn, that is C#.NET, sir. So you can claim from your side you are the C#.NET developer after completion of classes. So C#.NET is most powerful programming language in entire .NET supporting languages, because .NET supporting languages are many, like C#, VB, J#, F#, okay, Windows, PowerShell, Iron, Ruby, like so and so. Many programming languages support by .NET framework, but it is one of the topmost programming language, that is C#.NET only. Even in real-time environment also, most of the .NET application programmer recommend to learn C#.NET only, not other languages like VB, J#, F#, and so on. So this is about very basic demo session, sir. So in this session, even I have not give the introduction of .NET completely. In tomorrow, I'm going to give complete .NET introduction. What are the components are there? Whenever we start writing the code using .NET platform, how code is going to be execute, how code is going to be start the process, everything we'll discuss in detail, don't worry. So this is just an overview I'm giving in this session. So any subject related, like these many subjects I'm going to cover, no, all related with the .NET Core platform. Any questions you have, you can feel free to ask me. I'll wait for here few minutes. Or else if you have any questions you are unable to ask, that you can type in chat box question. I'll read it and I'll give you reply clearly. Tomorrow you will get the clarity. So why .NET? What is exactly .NET? Where we use .NET, application area of .NET, execution process, everything we'll discuss in detail. And finally, I will disclose in tomorrow which editor tool is required, what software configuration is required using .NET. We will discuss in detail. Okay. So that's all from my side today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now.
So, hi, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, only
Tell me.
uh, .NET only .NET వాడికి ప్యాకేజ్ ఎంత తీసుకుంటారు C# .NET కి ఓన్లీ C#.
See that things I can't disclose right now on the flow, so on the recorded. So you can please contact our Durga Soft team. They will assist you clearly. And also, once you complete this session after meeting, then they will send a mail to you clearly, so you can talk to them better. Okay.
ఓకే సార్.
Yeah. Any questions, Mr. Mohammed, Roja Rani, Sheikh, Mallikarjun?
So in this session, console applications also covered, na?
Yes, console applications, Windows Forms applications, ASP.NET Web applications, MVC applications, Web API, Entity Framework applications, all things will come.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All object-oriented programming related stuff I'm going to cover with console application, and ADO.NET related stuff I'm going to cover with Windows Forms application, and ASP.NET MVC web application through I will cover complete ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, all these things. That is web designing, web technologies. Even projects also we will go through ASP.NET way only.
Sir, career path, can you explain brief?
Career path means what is the role in .NET actually. Career path, career wise it will be ultimately excellent, no doubt at all, no doubt on it. So because you are looking outside means if you go through outside market and very good opportunities, especially on .NET Core platform or .NET MVC platform also, in Web API cases also, no doubt at all. But once we keep the experience, at least 2 to 3 years experience, it will be more better. And as a fresher also, there are so many companies are hiring .NET developers only. So undoubtedly no issues career wise.
Sir, .NET Core is open software.
Yeah, open software because it is a platform independent, no? So it can be able to run on any operating system. But .NET Core framework is an open software. But actually, when it comes to Visual Studio, no, we are going to write code in Visual Studio only. So Visual Studio community is a completely open source and free editions only. But professional and enterprise editions are completely licensed only. You should take license from Microsoft. But as a student point of view, learning point of view, no need to buy it. Only community is enough. But anyway, you are going to work with companies and company people are maintaining team size very medium and large scale, then they need to buy that original product from Microsoft only.
Sir, can I keep 3+ experience for your training?
Obviously, no doubt at all.
Okay, sir.
But you should have the gap only. Without gap, we cannot make it. Once you have a gap, then you can make it clearly. But only ultimately you should prepare subject strongly, and that real-time scenarios, how to write it. Anyway, we are going to write the code completely in it will be good, no issues. So any question? Please go ahead. For details, please try to join tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll continue from here. Today, just very basic things I discussed. I have not entered any introduction part also. because I need to give the subject clarity which I'm going to cover in these lectures. So you will have one clarity. So from tomorrow onwards, complete introduction and what is that making setup of our .NET coding part. So where to write, how to write, and all of these things we'll discuss. Once I finish that, then I'll start with C# .NET coding part only. Once I start coding part, then my lectures will be completely in through coding of .NET, J#, F# of class libraries. Class library means collection of predefined classes. Each and every class is having some methods. So all are built in and it's available readily. So that are called ready-made resources. Use that ready-made resources and you can implement your .NET applications very easily. So maximum contribution will come from framework. So from the programmer, minimum contribution is required to develop applications in .NET. So .NET framework is a collection of class libraries. And as I said, that .NET framework also there, .NET core also there. Whenever we try to develop any application, especially when we start creating application, at that time you will know that clearly. It will ask you clearly, do you want to develop the application using .NET framework or .NET core framework? Two options are available. You can select it. Okay. So I'm going to run all the applications on core platform only. That will be good right now nowadays. Okay. Even if you need to have the idea about .NET framework also. Some lectures like C# .NET related lectures, I'll go with .NET framework, and all ASP.NET lectures I'll go with core framework, or else completely also I can go with core framework as per your requirement, not a problem it is. But coding style and coding pattern will not be changed in C# .NET, even if I select .NET framework or .NET core framework. But coding style and pattern completely different in ASP.NET core and ASP.NET framework only. So I'm going to teach you ASP.NET core framework, not ASP.NET with framework. So that is the clarity I'm giving here. So coming to this, these framework class libraries are ready-made resources. So built-in libraries. So you can use that built-in libraries and you can develop application only. But coming to this here, so .NET Framework is a collection of class libraries. .NET Framework is a free software. But after downloading and installing .NET Framework software, where we can write the code. Okay, so where we can write .NET code. Okay, so generally to write .NET code, we need a software tool or editor tool. This editor tool is called what actually? Visual Studio, we can say that. Editor tool is what? Visual Studio. All the .NET developers can use Visual Studio editor tool. This is called Integrated Development Environment. IDE, we can say that. Integrated Development Environment. This Visual Studio, I recommend to use Visual Studio 2019 or 2022. This is the latest 2022. So these two are recommend versions, Visual Studio 2019 and 2022. But there are a lot of Visual Studio versions also there, along with the .NET Framework versions also. Let me explain some versions of Visual Studio and versions of .NET Framework. Versions of .NET Framework, and versions of what we can say Visual Studio. Each and every framework is having separate Visual Studio version support. So versions of .NET Framework and versions of Visual Studio. Let me open my previous documentation so that you will get clarity. So what versions are there and how it will be. So let's open quickly the documentation, just showing the versions. Now you can see these are the versions of Visual Studio and Framework. Microsoft has announced .NET in the year of 2000. First version of .NET was released in the year of 2002, I said, no? So these are the versions. So .NET Framework and Visual Studio. The first version of .NET Framework was 1.0. At the time, Microsoft has given VS, name called Visual Studio. And that next version 1.1, at the time, Microsoft has given VS 2003. 2.0 version VS 2005, 3.0 then not applicable, means VS 2005 only they were recommended to use at the time of 3.0 framework, and 3.5 VS 2008, 4.0 VS 2010, 4.5 VS 2012, 4.6 VS 2015, 4.7 VS 2017, 4.7.2 VS 2019, 4.8 is what VS 2022. So this is .NET framework, okay? Especially we are going to use in C# .NET this .NET framework 4.8, VS 2022 or 2019 also recommend. But when it comes to .NET Core frameworks, that are different. So we are going to use currently .NET Core 3.1, which is most recommendable in real time. So even .NET Core 5.0 is also there. That was completely stopped from the Microsoft, and they are released .NET Core 6 only. .NET Core 6 is very too advanced level. So that nothing is there. All the ready-made resources, more is there. So that's what there is less scope to learn from scratch. So that's what I'm going to teach you completely ASP.NET Core 3.1 version. So .NET Core 1 is there, 2 is there, 3.1 is there, 5 is there, 6 is there. But we are going to use in our sessions .NET Core 3.1 completely core version. If you go through .NET Framework means latest version, I'll cover 4.8. And if I go through like ASP.NET Core, .NET Core 3.1 version, I'm going to cover. So Visual Studio, obviously, I can go for VS 2019 or 2022. Both are there with me. So just for ASP.NET Core point of view, it is very comfortable 2019. Okay, this is fine. So this is 2019 or 2022, you can able to use it. So how we can get Visual Studio? Simply you can go to Google and type download Microsoft Visual Studio 2019 or 2022. So you'll be able to directly official website, you'll be able to reach like Microsoft downloads. There I'll show you clearly which version need to be installed. Community is there, enterprise edition is there, professional editor is there. For example, you can see this download Visual Studio. I'm just hitting download Visual Studio, sir. So let's click on this downloads. First link is there, visualstudio.microsoft.com. So first official link is there. Then after that, you can see community is there, free download option is available. Professional is there, free trial version is available. Means maximum they are going to give 90 days trial version. You can use this professional. After 90 days, evaluation period will be expired. Again, you need to purchase from Microsoft. And it is only for small teams, only suited for small teams. Enterprise edition, it's a scalable edition and like end-to-end solution for teams of any size. This is can be used in real time mostly. They'll purchase this product from Microsoft. And for student point of view and practice point of view, I strongly recommend this free download, powerful ID, free for students and open source contributors and individuals. This we can download it and install it simply. So this is software editor tool I'm going to use for my complete coding styles using C# .NET and ASP.NET, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API. Every time I'm going to use Visual Studio tool only here. But SQL Server, I recommend SQL Server 2019 software, sir. This is the latest version. This I'm going to explain you when I start SQL Server sessions also. So ultimately, if you want to work with .NET, compulsory in your computer, you must and should install two softwares. One is SQL Server 2019. Next one is Visual Studio 2019 or 2022. These two softwares you have, then easily we can able to write the programming. So that is possible, sir. Next, coming to this application area of .NET. Application area of .NET. What type of applications are there and which applications mostly we are going to concentrate in our lectures, we'll discuss here. So application area, using .NET, we can develop what we can say standalone or desktop applications, standalone or desktop applications, standalone or desktop. What is meaning of standalone or desktop applications? Standalone or desktop application means the applications once we design and develop, and that application where we install on that particular mission only it will work and other missions will not work. That means standalone or desktop applications. So we are focusing especially in the standalone or desktop applications, mainly console applications we are focusing. So console application, it will provide completely CUI, sir, command user interface or character user interface. Next, I'm trying to focus on Windows Forms applications. Windows Forms applications. Windows Forms application is completely GUI based, graphical user interface. So console application programs are just like C, C++ programs. Fundamentals concepts we'll discuss more. And this is very crucial for every .NET developer because maximum C# .NET subjects you are going to learn concepts understanding point of view. Console applications are very important. Even I am going to cover in console application very basics like data types, operators, control flow statements, and collection data structures, and object-oriented programming principles, and lot more we will cover in console application. And when it comes to Windows Forms application, this is completely graphical user interface. That means we are going to develop Windows Forms here. Windows Forms means like if you want to generate notepad kind of applications, text editor applications, Windows calculator, or any standalone application development for internal organization purpose, we use Windows Forms application. But don't think so, this is a web application, sir. It's not a web applications. All the web applications we can build using ASP.NET only with UI technology support. So these are standalone applications or desktop applications. These are not online applications or web applications. Using .NET, we can also build web applications rapidly. Web application development completely with possible ASP.NET through only. The ASP.NET stands for Active Server Page, I said clearly in the last session. So it's not a programming language. It is a web technology or server-side technology here. So though we are going to design web pages or websites using ASP.NET technology, but behind the scenes logic part we are going to write completely with C#.NET only. So that's what here web applications with ASP.NET. Okay, so these are called distributed applications or online applications also we can call it as. So all ASP.NET web applications are online applications. After completion of applications, once we host on the server, everybody can able to use and access throughout the world by typing web address simply here. So web application point of view, compulsory you should have the strong knowledge on C#.NET as well as ASP.NET as well as basics of UI technologies compulsory along with SQL Server idea here. That's the reason before going to start ASP.NET, we should finish C#, SQL, UI basics. Then we will ready with ASP.NET development progress. So this is going to happen. Next, coming to this, apart from these main applications, also using .NET, we can develop MVC based applications. MVC based applications means what? M for model, view for view, C for controller actually. This is main area, sir, where we can develop many applications in real time model view controller platform. So what is MVC? MVC is a architectural design pattern. Especially this is related to ASP.NET. So ASP.NET MVC is there, ASP.NET Core MVC is there. So I'm going to show you some differences. ASP.NET MVC is there earlier. Before Core, ASP.NET MVC is there. This is completely with the .NET framework. Okay, but in our session, I'm going to discuss completely ASP.NET Core MVC, means core platform through I'm going to explain. ASP.NET Core MVC is different, ASP.NET MVC is different along with the .NET framework. Again, if you build ASP.NET MVC applications on top of .NET framework, these applications can able to run on only Windows operating system. If you build applications on .NET Core platform MVC applications, this can run on any operating system, that means platform independent. So in our lecture, I'm going to discuss ASP.NET Core MVC because our topic is completely .NET Core related. I'm going to discuss, not framework related. Okay, yes, because most of the companies are looking .NET Core only nowadays. So not asking .NET framework, but anyway, I'll make you idea .NET framework through how to deal it and .NET Core framework through how to deal it here. So this is MVC model view controller. Model represent always database. It's a 3-layer approach actually completely. So apart from MVC, normal applications also we can build, but 2-layer connection will be there. Front end and back end communication is there directly. But we are going to split maximum code in 3 layers approach only. That is model, view, controller. Model will act as a database logics. Okay, so we are going to write model classes, means a database entity classes, that is entity framework class only. View is nothing but completely UI basics like presentation layer, what we are going to see finally when we execute the application in the screen of web application, that is view. View is a presentation layer. Controller is completely control the model and view both. Then controller is required. So ASP.NET controller here. Controller will play the crucial role in this case. So whenever we send request to a server, completely first controller will take that request and controller will identify the view and model. Then required data will collect from the model and it will display to the presentation layer only. So no worries at all at this moment. What about MVC? MVC I'll clearly explain when I start development of ASP.NET applications. So as of now, not required to know about MVC, just leave it about this. So MVC applications also we can build using .NET. And also using .NET, we can develop Windows services. Yes, Windows services we can develop. And also using .NET, we can develop web services. Web services. Web services is a old technique. And later Microsoft introduced WCF services, that is called Windows Communication Foundation. Windows Communication Foundation. Windows Communication Foundation. Now we are going to learn, apart from web services and WCF, I'm going to teach you in our application like web API concept is related to API creation. In our class, we will discuss how to create API using ASP.NET, how to test that API also, whether it is working or not, we'll discuss in detail. This is a part of ASP.NET core MVC only. See, the thing is entity framework, web API, what is that, ASP.NET MVC all together under comes into ASP.NET web development. So once I start to develop this APIs or to work with entity framework or MVC applications, compulsory prerequisite is C#.NET. Without C#.NET, you can't move on. Okay, that's what I'm saying, that first we should focus on C#, and after that SQL Server. Once we complete that, so we should focus on ASP.NET core MVC, entity framework, web API. So all under comes into ASP.NET platform only. So web applications, web APIs also we can build using .NET. And also using .NET, we can develop business applications, means as per client needs. So if client is having any requirement according to their business needs, then we can take the requirements from them and we can build that applications for them, business applications. Using .NET, we can build network-based applications also possible, sir. Network-based applications. And using .NET, we can build mobile applications and gaming applications also possible. Gaming applications and mobile application development also possible using Xamarin tool. Okay, especially in .NET, Xamarin tool is there. Using Xamarin tool, we can develop mobile application point of view, and many more applications we can build using .NET. So this is exactly application area of .NET only here. Okay, so our programming language is ultimately C#.NET. So normally, whenever we go for C++ programming language, how the code is going to execute, sir, in the context of C++ languages. So normally, whenever we write the code, that code is called what code actually? Source code. No? Suppose, assume that if I take C language, if I write some code in C language, whatever we write that code in C language, that is in the text editor, that is source code only. Generally, source code is compiled by what? Language compiler here. Source code is compiled by language compiler, respective language compiler. Because every language is having its own respective language compiler, that compiler will compile the code and finally produce what code actually? Bytecode. So bytecode can be understandable by operating system. So a bytes code only can understand operating system can understand bytecode. This is called binary format, or system understandable code or mission understandable code. This style of execution is C++ point of view. What code we write in the editor, that is called source code. It's going to compiled by language compiler. After successful compilation, it's going to be generate what? Bytecode or mission code. So this code can be transferred to operating system for further process. But when it comes to .NET code execution process is different, sir. So there are two compilation takes place in .NET program execution. Let me show you quickly a diagram so that you'll understand clearly how the .NET code is going to be executed. So code execution process of .NET, sir. This is exactly code execution process in .NET. You can take any programming language. As I said that So .NET supports many languages like C sharp, J sharp, VB, F sharp, JScript, okay, Iron Ruby, Iron Python, Windows PowerShell. Many languages can support, but most popular language in entire .NET applications languages are C sharp .NET. So we are focusing on C sharp .NET. So consider this is the language compilation and execution process, especially when we write code using C sharp .NET or any other programming language. So first compilation, second compilation. Two compilations takes place in .NET program execution. So consider this is first compilation. Normally, whatever the code we write using C sharp .NET in our editor tool like Visual Studio, that is called source code. Source code means before going to execute or compile the code, that is called source code. And this source code is compiled by respective language compiler, that is LC. LC means language compiler. Every programming language is having its own language compiler. Language compiler will compile the source code. After compilation successfully, this language compiler will generate what code I know? MSL code, Microsoft Intermediate Language Code, or Common Intermediate Language Code, or Intermediate Language Code like this only. MSIL, CIL, or IL, anything you can call it as. But make sure that this is not a binary code or byte code or system understandable code. This is still in English language format code. Our operating system cannot understand that language. So this should be converted into completely byte code or system understandable code only. But this is up to here, first compilation takes place here. Source code is compiled by language compiler and it's generate MSL code. MSL code is Microsoft related code. So a first compilation takes place here. And when it comes to second compilation, now you can see second compilation. In the second compilation, there is a component called CLR. I'll talk about .NET components also. CLR is there. It is a main component actually, Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime. How Java programmers have like JVM Java Virtual Machine. Same .NET programmers have CLR, that is called Common Language Runtime clearly. So CLR is responsible to provide runtime environment or execution environment for .NET applications, common language runtime. So this MSL code is going to transfer to CLR. CLR, inside the CLR, there is a compilation one more time, like JIT compiler is there, just-in-time compiler. This just-in-time compiler will compile this MSL code. After that, it will execute by CLR. So code is executed by CLR. After execution, CLR will provide native code or byte code or system understandable code. This can be transferred to operating system for furtherly for understanding purpose. So this is second compilation. Majorly in second compilation, JIT compiler is involved, which is associated with CLR only. So CLR is the main component in .NET program execution. This will provide execution environment or runtime environment for .NET applications clearly. Okay. Now coming to this here, first compilation is always slow when compared to second compilation, sir, because maximum code like minimum 60 to 70% of the code is compiled in the first compilation. So remaining 30 to 40% of the code is compiled by second compilation. So JIT compiler is always faster compilation than normal language compiler. So first compilation is slow only when compared to second compilations are clear. First compilation is slow when compared to second compilation. So this is code execution. If you take any language like C sharp, F sharp, J sharp, any language, once we start writing the code and after that compilation and execution, this is going to take place in behind the scenes only. You must and should aware of this, how code execute here. Source code, SSE means, LC means language compiler, MSL means Microsoft Intermediate Language, CL means Common Intermediate Language, IL means Intermediate Language, CLR Common Language Runtime, JIT means Just-in-Time Compiler here. So these are the components are included in this execution process. Okay, so first compilation only language compiler will take care and produced MSL code, Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. That MSL code is transferred to CLR for the second compilation and execution. Okay, so next there are some important .NET components will be involved, sir. So .NET components, okay, or .NET framework components also we can call it as .NET framework components. So main two components are involved. These two components are very, very important in the time of writing the code and executing the code. First one is base class library, BCL. It also called as framework class libraries, sir. Base class libraries, base class libraries. It also called as framework class libraries or FCL. We can say that. FCL means framework class libraries. Framework class libraries. Framework class libraries. Framework class libraries. So base class libraries or framework class libraries, we can call it as this is. So class libraries are nothing but what? Collection of classes. What classes? Predefined classes. So when we download and install Visual Studio 2019 or 2022 along with respective frameworks will be download and install, no problem. But as soon as once we download .NET software with Visual Studio, automatically base class libraries get installed, sir. These base class libraries are building blocks of .NET. These base class libraries are building blocks of .NET. That means without base class libraries, you can't write .NET code. If you want to write a .NET code, compulsory base class libraries are required. Base class libraries are required, sir, compulsory to start writing the code. Because main core libraries got installed when we use this base class libraries only. So once we got the libraries, that means we can able to use these libraries, and using these libraries we can able to develop the application. These are just building blocks of .NET framework, and how C programmers use like header files before writing their code, and how Java programmers use like packages, and Python developers can use modules. Same like in .NET we use these libraries, but we can call it as these namespaces. So before going to write the code, and we use namespaces exactly, these namespaces are coming from this base class libraries only, BCL or framework class libraries. I can say that without base class libraries, you can't able to write the code. So writing code is not possible, because to implement any applications on the top of the program, we should include required libraries. And always base class libraries in the form of two ways. One is .exe. It's nothing but executable file. And next one is DLL. DLL stands for dynamic link library. We can say that dynamic link library, sir. Dynamic link library. Base class libraries are in the form of two different ways. One is .exe, that is executable file. Next one is DLL, that is dynamic link library. So these two are under comes into base EL. So what is exe? Exe means executable file. It will run directly, individually. By default, whenever we double click on .exe, application will start execution because it's having an entry point. Entry point of the program is nothing but static void main method. Static void main method is there in C#.NET programming part. That is called entry point. So it's having an entry point. What is that? .exe is having an entry point. That's what, because of this entry point only, we will execute .NET programming clearly. So .exe is an executable file. It will run directly. It's having an entry point. So that's what we can run directly the application. But whereas DLL is their dynamic link library, so it's not a entry point. It don't have any entry point. It's not a main file also. It is just a supportive file. We can say that. What file it is? Supportive file. So dynamic means runtime. Link means adding. What it will add? Library will add. So dynamic link library. So DLL stands for dynamic link library. It is just a supportive file, we can call it as. What is this? Supportive file. This supportive file, it will support to .exe at the time of program execution. What way this .exe is required, some libraries, it will add it. So this DLL is called supportive file. And in our sessions, how to create DLL file and how to reuse them into other applications also we will discuss in our session. So DLL is very important, dynamic link library file, sir. It's a supportive file only. Okay. Yes. So this is the main component, first component of .NET framework. And second component is there, that is called CLR. Just now in the execution diagram I included CLR. CLR stands for common language runtime. CLR stands for common language runtime. So common language runtime means CLR main purpose is it will provide a execution environment or what we can say runtime environment for all .NET applications, how many it will support. For every language execution environment purpose, common language runtime will take care. So without CLR, you can't execute your program. But CLR categorized into a lot of subcomponents. That is CLS. It stands for Common Language Specification. Common Language Specification. And also one more component is there, that is called CTS, Common Type System. Common Type System. This is called Data Type System Representation. And also we have in this, what we can say, GC is there. So garbage collector. First, let me talk about GC. Yeah, GC only, garbage collector. It is especially used to provide memory management. I'll talk about garbage collector in detail in the next session tomorrow, I think so. Garbage collector, and JIT is there, just-in-time compiler. We can say that just-in-time compiler, JIT means. So these all four subcomponents are available under the CLR, Common Language Runtime only. So JIT, just-in-time compiler. Every subcomponent is having its own role, sir. So common language specification is to understand all the language specifications which are coming, like C#, AS, JS, C#, F#, different programming language code we write, no? That all language specifications can understand by CLR by using CLS only. And data type system mechanism also different from one language to another language. C# data types are different, VB data types are different, all the data types are different, no? So that data types can be converted into CLR understandable format, that is by using CTS only. So CLS will take responsible to convert all the programming language rules and regulations will be converted into CLR standards. And common type system is responsible to convert all programming language data type system into CTS, CLR data type system format only. Garbage collector is there. It is just providing automatic memory management. So that means memory management. Whenever the application is needed some memory will be allotted. If it is not needed, then memory can be destroyed. So that automatic memory management process. There is a lot of discussion is required garbage collector that I'll discuss in detail in tomorrow's session. Don't worry. And JIT means just-in-time compiler. It's a compiler which is used in second compilation of .NET program execution. Always just-in-time compiler is a faster rate of compiler than normal language compilations. So to run your .NET application, who is required? CLR is required. To write your .NET application code, who is required? Base class libraries are required. So base class libraries without, we can't write .NET code. Without CLR, we can't run .NET code. So running and writing both are important to write .NET code and running code. So this is what .NET components are important. So this is about today's session, .NET Framework components and application area and versioning of .NET Framework and Visual Studio, and what is .NET Framework, and clearly again which subjects I am going to cover in our sessions in detail. So for more details, you can stay tuned to tomorrow. So we'll discuss in detail clearly tomorrow. And after that, we'll introduce some C#.NET. Once I introduce C#.NET, then I'll start coding part with Visual Studio clearly. Okay. So that's all for now from my side. This is second lecture. And those who are new to this session today, I strongly recommend to watch my first video lecture, which is available on YouTube. And even after completion of this session, our team will send a YouTube link also for watching my previous lecture videos. So you can happily watch it here. And once your registration is completed, so I'll collect mail IDs from Durga Soft. I can start share my video lectures up to now what conducted like 2 sessions. And you can also wait for one more session or 2 more sessions also for for registration purpose only, no problem at all. So that's all from my end today. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me now. I'll try to clarify your doubts.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Shiva Prasad, tell me.
Hello, sir.
Mr.
Can I speak in Hindi?
Yeah, you can tell me.
सर हम इसमें प्रोजेक्ट लेने वाले हैं क्या कंप्लीट होने के बाद?
Obviously, we are going to conduct the project with regarding ASP.NET only, with C Sharp and all those things, database connectivity with SQL Server.
Yes. And resume preparation, sir.
Resume preparation also, I'll do it. I'll support it, no issues. If you are a fresher, then I'll assist you how to do it.
And interview questions and
Interview question already available, so I'll send to you completely your mail account. So PDF is there, complete interview questions are there, basic and intermediate and advanced level, with regarding all the subjects.
okay. Sir, minimum configuration of laptop.
No configuration, minimum just 4 GB RAM is required, and 20-30 GB C drive space is enough. Then operating system Windows or any other operating system also, it's work fine, because we are using .NET Core platform. It can be run on any operating system. So for better understanding,
It's
Windows is better.
and sir, it's required any requirement because 2015-19 Visual Studio.
Oh, we are using 2019 Visual Studio. So 2017 also you can use, 2019 also you can use. Even 2022 is there, but most of them in real time 2019, 2017 they'll use, because immediately they'll not update as soon as product was released. So it takes time to update new versions in reality. So that's what we are going to use, not new, completely new versions, just before versions we are going to cover. That will be good for learning process.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Neeraj, tell me.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm Nitish. Hello.
First, please mute your audio behind the scenes. What noise is coming? Then you can talk to me.
Yeah. So actually, I'm working before like testing, and I want to move from .NET side.
Okay.
So it is fine for me.
It's okay. It's okay. No problem. And if you can learn from .NET, you can learn the .NET from scratch. No issues. But no prerequisite learning is required. Like C, C++, basic not required, because everything
Okay.
will teach from scratch, only basics onwards.
Because
Undoubtedly,
actually, I'm very,
yeah, it will work
I
out. Undoubtedly.
actually I don't know how to write the code and everything. So I'm thinking it's possible for me or not.
See, the thing is, you should not get doubt about it, because once, if you are before going to start any codes, then no one will ready to write the code. No, so after learning, then they can start slowly writing the code. Then by flow it will come. So it's not a big deal for everyone.
Okay.
Only the thing is, practice is required from your side. Everybody, not only you, and everybody who are learning the course, and practice is required. Practical knowledge is important. Only just simply attending the classes and understanding the concept is not work out in interviews and the real-time development. Keep on practice, that will be good.
Okay, so you are providing some forms are designing, then we can practice, right?
Yeah, compulsory. Whenever I start coding, you will come to know that how the way I'm teaching and what
Okay.
scenario I'm going to develop. And
Okay.
in C#.NET, completely coding is there. Then ASP.NET, we have to do design and coding and managing with the database. All things we have to do it.
Okay, so actually I more focus on C# because I don't know coding, so C# is main important.
Yeah, main important. C# is the main for everything. Like even
Yeah.
ASP, MVC, everywhere we use that techniques only.
Yeah, because backend you are using only C#. So
Mm.
that is the reason. Okay. Fine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me, Mohammed Wasim. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Tell me.
Sir, I have gave up 3 years after completion of my post graduation. So, sir, there is any problem in real-time industry?
No problem. You can happily put the 3 years experience, then you will get more package compared to someone. That is advantage only. Why? What is the problem? So problem will be only after 5 years. Like if you keep 5-6 years gap or 5-6 years experience, then so there is a problem in technical aspect. But 3 years, it's not a big deal. You can easily handle.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, how to pay? How to make a payment for this course and registration?
So I think if you attend yesterday, then already you got a mail from Durga Soft. I think so. No problem. Today also you'll get the mail. So they'll give you some account number, account details also. Then you can do it, and you can share the screenshot to them. So confirm it. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for attending this session. And if you wish to really continue my lectures, don't miss the sessions, and regularly you can maintain the classes. That will be good. That will be clarity. So see you tomorrow again on the same link at same time. You can join it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Neeraj, anything you want to ask me?
No, it's fine, sir. My side.
Yeah, okay, fine. Right, let's start today's session. So this is the third session of .NET Core. Those who are new to this session, I strongly recommend to watch my 2 recorded videos in YouTube channel. So our team will send a link for that also after completion of session. And 2 recorded videos I strongly recommend to watch, because in that I covered complete introduction of .NET and .NET components. And today I'm going to start with the C#.NET introduction clearly, so that we will start coding part. And also I will discuss clearly Visual Studio environment, how to write coding part and how to manage the things clearly. So as per our discussion in the last 2 sessions, so C#.NET is the most important subject which we are going to deal in the initial stage of .NET Core. So to learn ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, MVC, Entity Framework, Web API, compulsory C#.NET is required, sir. Without C#.NET, you can't go for any other subjects. So C#.NET is main important. This is the programming language. So today I'm going to discuss basic introduction of C#.NET. After that, I'll show you how to write a basic program using Visual Studio platform. So first of all, C#.NET. So what is C#.NET here? C#.NET is a programming language. C#.NET is a programming language. Generally, any programming language is used to write coding part for the application development. Coding part for the application development actually. If you take any programming language, so that programming language is used to write coding part for the application development. So here in entire the .NET application development, we are going to use C#.NET as a programming language. Using this, we are going to write logic part for any type of application development. And coming to this, C#.NET is a general purpose. General purpose means Using C#.NET, we can develop any sort of applications like console, web applications, Windows Forms, network programming, and MVC, entity framework, web API applications, mobile applications, gaming application, and more. So C#.NET was designed for general purpose only. You can use this programming language to build multiple applications. And general applications, general purpose language it is. And C#.NET is a high level programming language. That means if a programming language is high level, that indicates that as a programmer, we need not to concentrate on any low level activities like memory management and security and internal process. The reason is, yes. So Mr. Rahul S. Kumar, our team will assist you clearly. So they'll send a mail to you regarding complete enrollment process. They will send a link. You can follow that link and you can share the screenshot after completion of your transactions. Okay. So you just, or else they will, team will contact you. Don't worry. So you can check your mails, whatever the mail you have given at the time of registration of this link, same mail, you can check it. So they will send the complete details about these sessions. So C#.NET is a general purpose high level. High level means no need to write any logic part for low level activities because it's a high level programming language. So memory management, security, completely internal it will take care. So for example, yesterday we were discussed garbage collector is the special component in association with CLR common language runtime that will take care completely memory management for .NET applications. So you need not to write any logic code for memory management kind of things only. So this is high level programming language. And moreover, C#.NET is case sensitive programming language. Case sensitive programming language. So that means if you define any variable or function name or class name, what the way you just mention the name inside the program, same name through we have to access it and other name through we can't access. That is case sensitive programming language. Suppose if you declare a variable name in the lower case, so you have to access with lower case only. If you declare any name of the function uppercase through you have to access. This is case sensitive programming language. And C#.NET is most powerful programming language. Most powerful programming language. Why it is most powerful programming language? Because C#.NET is equals to C++ features plus VB 6.0 features plus Java plus additional features we have in C#.NET. So these are all features we have included. So we will discuss in only C#.NET where one programming language. So C++ features are there, VB 6.0 features are there, Java features are there, additional features also we have to discuss in C#.NET. So it's a most powerful programming language in entire the .NET programming languages. So most of the applications and most of the software applications designed and developed in especially .NET platform I'm speaking using C#.NET only. So better to learn C#.NET, it's a good practice. In some cases, as per client requirement and any company requirement, they'll use some VB.NET. That is second option. VB.NET is there, F#, J#, and many programming languages are there. But most of the cases, C#.NET is the priority. Next, coming to this C#.NET. Why the name C# actually here? So actually at the time of release, C#.NET, okay, .NET was announced by Bill Gates in the year of 2000. I said in my demo lectures, and first version of .NET was released in the year of 2002. So at that time, Microsoft people decided that anyway, this programming language is going to become most popular language. So that's what they have given the symbol called sharp. This symbol you should pronounce as SHARP, sharp only. Don't call it as this is hash only. Okay, this is not a hash. So Microsoft has taken the symbol from musical notes. There are some 7 musical notes. Apart from all 7 musical notes, sharp is the most powerful note, which is top place. So anyway, Microsoft people are expecting. So at the time of releasing, C#.NET is top language, powerful language. So that's what sharp notation they have given in front of C. This we can call it as sharp only here. And it's a basic story. Now in C#.NET application, C#.NET mainly, we need to focus on console applications. As I said that many application area is there. So